Have we peaked in coffee brewing technology? Does it really matter on the coffee gear? Does it really matter off of the brewing mechanisms? Is it perfectly okay for pour overs, drip machines, immersion brews to have peaked? Is having this cup of coffee the way it is that perfectly fine? If you do decide to get another piece of gear, do feel that you've hopefully mastered the gear that you currently have. We live right now. I hope that you're doing pretty good right now. I think the way we're going to do this one is, it's more so like a coming to Jesus type of moment, or us being real and honest with ourselves. I'm about to do a video on a coffee brewer, and I'm thinking about like where and how it really makes sense, and I think the video is going to be fine. Just have to flesh out a couple ideas and all that. But really the biggest thing that I'm thinking about right now is coffee, right? That's the thing. None of these are going to be perfect, but you do what you can and do like that. But I've been thinking about topics and all that stuff and things to talk about as we progress through our journey together. And one of the things that I've thought about as I was sitting down with this new coffee brewer that I'm going to do a video about, which I'll mention probably next time, is that it more so tastes like a Hario V60. And I talked about that a couple weeks ago or last week or whatnot. And yeah, so I've been thinking about like how are we being too critical when we buy or select a coffee gear? And then it got me thinking of the topic of the day, which is, have we peaked in coffee brewing technology? Since you are hopefully enjoying the video, would you like, subscribe? I'm mainly talking about pour over, French press, so immersion brew and drip coffee. Those are the things that I'm thinking about. Really, espresso is a different realm. It kind of does whatever it wants. It's a new technology, new design to help, extract coffee a lot better. I can go on the soapbox about how everything now is trying to be a lever machine. May do that next time, but it's already had the original, but whatever. But it's one of those things to where I'm thinking about like why, or have we peaked? Because everything is more so the same. And I know there's so many different brewers. I'm actually going to get my chance or opportunity to go to the SCA Expo because it's in Houston. Really, that's the reason why. If it was anywhere else, I'm not making a special trip for it. We'll see how this year goes. We may talk about it a little bit more as we talk about that whole experience and all that stuff going around town and all that. But I really wonder if we really peaked, if something or what we're trying to do, does it really matter on the coffee gear? Does it really matter off of the brewing mechanisms? Because that's the thing that I'm thinking about. That's the thing that I think that you are probably thinking about too, as it comes to coffee, making coffee, something so simple and so basic, and something that I don't think we don't take it for granted or anything like that. I think we probably take it a little too seriously, if that makes sense. But that's more so the situation that I believe that we're in. And that is the case. What are we doing here? And is it perfectly okay for pour overs, drip machines, immersion brews to have peaked? And I think that's where we're at. And I think that's perfectly fine for us to see it for what it truly really is. It's like, if we peaked, we peaked. And what does that mean for us? What does that do for the things that we're trying to do as we are making a cup of coffee? So let's kind of like break this down a little bit. Let's talk about coffee gear. Let's talk about the Hario V60. Let's talk about French press. Let's talk about more so like, what is the point objective of a coffee brewer? Is to brew a cup of coffee, right? And we have mainly two methods. Another one, may be controversial, is the drip of you pouring coffee over a bed, pouring water over a bed of coffee. Okay. That's more so what we're dealing with right now. And then we have different techniques, we have different recipes, we have different ways that we can go about it. We can change the temperatures, we can change the grind size, we can use different waters and all that stuff and all that good stuff. What's going on? So that's what we can do. That's essentially what we're doing. Immersion brew, you let the coffee sit together and then you make your cup of coffee, or you pour it out, or you use filters, or you don't use filters. You like the sludge of a French press, or you like the cleanness of a clever dripper or whatnot. Then you have percolators. Percolators, they kind of just put more water, clean water on top of a coffee bed, and then as it brews, it keep going in that sense. And then after a while, you wait 5-10 minutes or whatever, and then that's your cup of coffee. Okay. But at the end of the day, we're drinking it, right? We either drink it black, we drink it straight, we drink it with milk, creamer, whatever the hell we want to. It doesn't matter. And we are the conquerors or doers of our coffee journey for that morning, right? And those are some of the things that I'm kind of like thinking about, wondering about, seeing how we can actually do something in a place to where we're able to create something magical quickly. Like, for instance, I just made a cup of coffee out the new brewer. If you can probably see it over here, you probably can. But I instantly tasted that it's bitter, it's over extracted just by my experience of coffee making. Not necessarily the experience of this actual coffee, but my experience and expertise of coffee making. Okay. Yeah. So I don't really taste the awesomeness of the coffee. So that could have been probably too long in the bed of the coffee maker. Whatever. We have plenty of tips and tricks, and we're still going to continue to do all that stuff because I think it's extremely fascinating to where we can figure things out without a lot of gear. And that's what I'm doing or trying to do to help you out to understand coffee even more so, to where you taste it, you're like, okay, no, let me back it up this way. Let me taste it this way. And then you can go from there. But at the end of the day, we're making coffee. I just made coffee with this new coffee recipe that I'm trying, and I think it needs to work. It does need work. But at the end of the day, we are just making a beverage. We're changing water, mixing it in with coffee grounds. So I guess really what I'm saying here is that good enough? Is that all we need? Is having this cup of coffee the way it is that perfectly fine? I think it is. Because I think the thing that it allows us to do is not so much chase all these different gadgets and gears. It allows us to be front and center, present with our cup of coffee, with these beans, with understanding what these particular beans are, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, the things that we wish that it would be different about these beans. And yeah, we have all the things in our toolbox in order to change or manipulate the flavors as much as we want. But if we were perfectly fine with just using a brewer for one brewer or two or three, see, there I go again, trying to get it carried away here. But if we just use one or two brewers, then guess what we can do? It's more so about the coffee more than anything. It's more so about chasing that high for that particular coffee. It gives us the true, real ability to enjoy the craft for what it is. But again, I understand. I can't really talk, as you can see in the background if you're watching the video. Is that I love gear? It's fun, even if it's just a little bit different than what we're accustomed to using. But those are some of the things that I think about all the time. Even now that I'm testing gear, seeing what it's all about, seeing how we can get down with it and understand it even more so, is that are we wasting our time? Do we just need to focus on the coffee? Just see what different coffees are out there, how different roasters are brewing this, or not brewing. They don't brew coffee for you, or roasting this coffee for you, and seeing if it's your jam, if it's your daily driver, if it's something that you use over the weekend or you cherish with friends, family, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I guess at the end of the day, it's one of those things to where let's see if we can stop getting in our way of having all these different gears, coffee brewers, and all that, because kind of do the same thing. It's kind of more so different variations here and there. Probably French press will bring something else out in a coffee, something make it a little sweeter, like this coffee right now. I'll probably try it with the AeroPress just because I think the grind size is a little too fine for the brewer that I'm using. And since it kind of goes a lot slower than a hard V60, even a hard V60 with the fast filter, I think I'll be in a better place of enjoying this particular coffee. And that's the thing that I'm really kind of getting at, because I think at times when we get all these different types of gadgets and gears and stuff, we are not in a place to where we are like maximizing our growth, our experience with the gear that we have all the time in our palettes. Because now if we just stay with one or two pieces of equipment, now we understand what we're doing. We understand what we're drinking. We're understanding that it's one of those things to where it's all about the coffee and our knowledge and our experience and us to like troubleshoot quickly to get something that's more so magical with this cup of coffee. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Think about it. I know. Yeah, it's a really good example. Let's use the espresso machine, for instance. You're not changing the espresso machine out all the time. You're probably sticking with one and you're just dealing with it, right? That's how I am with my Olympia Cremina. I'm not buying another espresso machine. I'm playing around with different beans. I'm changing one or two variables on the grind settings, or I don't even change like the makeup of the whole temperature, because it's not difficult, but I don't feel like playing around with that type of thing with that machine. I just put the coffee in there, make the cup of coffee, drink it, analyze it, and move on. Why can we not do that also with coffee gear? Because it's a hell of a lot cheaper, that's why. Spend $10, $20 and you kind of get something different. But that's the thing that I'm really trying to find out for you, to see if it's worth it, because that, those are some of the things that matter, that the things that we're trying to understand even more so when we're making coffee. So that's me talking about coffee gear, how it gets in the way with us truly enjoying coffee. One last point. If you do decide to get another piece of gear, do feel that you've hopefully mastered the gear that you currently have. Because if you do that, I believe what that will do for you is to give you a better sense of understanding of the differences, if there are that many differences in the new gear that you get. Not probably so much in the way that it actually makes, brews, and extracts the coffee. How fast of a brewer, how slow of a brewer, how you have to probably manipulate the grind size and all that good stuff. taste the coffee and analyze it from there. Because at the end of the day, those are really more so what we're doing. We're trying to maximize our exploration of taste. So go from there. Let me know what you think. This is Oki at Everyday Being signing off. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.